My name's Jimmy McGill, and I'm a person in long-term recovery. I'm also a person that has re-entered society from incarceration. I'm an author. I'm a homeowner. I'm an executive director. I'm a lot of things, but mainly all those things happen because I'm sober. And so I'm grateful to be here. You're listening to From Prison to Purpose, and this is where we share stories of how people have went from sitting in prisons to walking in their purpose. And so today's guest is no stranger. You saw him last time, but the last time we did the podcast, we had an iPhone on a tripod sitting sideways, and you guys loved him. You've asked a ton of questions. You want to follow up about him. And so without any further ado, my long-term friend, Brandon Birdsong. What's up, B?
What's up now? Thanks for having me.
You nervous?
No.
It's a little bit different than the first time, huh?
Yeah, it's
Is
nice.
It's nicer?
Yeah. A lot nicer than the tripod and the phone.
Yeah, what about my broken handcuffs up there? You like that?
Yeah, I like that.
That's kind of cool, ain't it?
Yeah.
Ty made that.
Yeah.
I like to take credit for all of it, but he did it all.
That's nice. That's nice.
Yeah, so what's up, B, man? Where you at in your life today, man?
Man, today I'm doing good, man. I hold down a full-time job, making $18 an hour. I just bought a car, working on getting an apartment. I graduated the Next Step program. My next step is graduating the PAC program through the Lonoke County Sheriff's Office, and that'll be in February. I have a year clean, January the 14th, 2024.
Man, that's nuts.
So, yeah, man, I'm doing good, man.
Yeah. So you didn't have all that the last time we did the interview. I mean, you had a job.
Yeah, I had a job. But
I don't think you was making $18 an hour. That's substantial.
Yeah.
That's a lick. That's a lick. Did you ever make that kind of money when you was high?
No.
Yeah.
If I was hustling. But,
Boy, you ain't hustled that good. You hustle no $18 an hour, boy. If you was making $18 an hour, you smoking half of it. Tell the truth.
We ain't going to talk about all that.
So Brandon and I ran around way before recovery. His dad was actually a good friend of mine, good friends with my dad, and one of the men that actually had an influence over how I lived my life. And so Brandon was raised in addiction, right? Like you were raised around. So your mom is in recovery.
Yeah. Well, I grew up in a little town called Macon, Arkansas.
Yeah.
And I had a pretty good younger childhood. I stayed with my grandparents because my mom was in and out of addiction. My dad was in prison majority of my life. And so I stayed with my grandparents. And when I got old enough to be bad enough,
yeah,
my grandma was like, I can't handle it no more. You got to go stay with your mom. So I went and lived with my mom, and she was battling with crack addiction.
Yeah.
She was with a gentleman, and he was a very abusive, physical, mentally, verbally abusive to me and her. And throughout all that, she was still battling with crack addiction. And like I said, my father was incarcerated till I was 18 years old, so he wasn't there. And I started out, smoking weed and drinking and stuff like that. But my first hard drug was cocaine. I got a hold of one of my mom's sacks one time and started snorting cocaine when I was 13 years old.
Went to town on it.
Yeah, I went to town. And then I moved up to methamphetamines and didn't put it down for 20 plus years.
Yeah.
It's been an ongoing chaotic thing in my life this whole time. Yeah.
So how long did you use for?
Meth.
Altogether, a drug is a drug.
Man,
on this show, a drug is a drug.
Since I was 13 years old, I've been using any kind of mind-altering substance.
And so this is your first time getting clean.
Yeah, I'm 35.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that's crazy. That's a long time.
Yeah, a substantial amount of time.
Yeah. So how many times you been to the joint?
I've been to prison 4 times.
Okay. 4 times. How old were you the first time you went?
First time I went, I was 19, fixing to be 20 years old.
So I got to ask you, because this has been a question we've been asking. This is where we've had some fun on this question, ain't we, Ty, about your first day in prison?
Well, the first time I went to prison, I went to, they call it RPF, Regional punishment facility.
Yeah.
It's not really prison.
Yeah, it's like a parole violator treatment.
Well, yeah, it's like a SATP kind of,
Yeah.
But when I went to Malvern, my first day in prison, it was kind of
So Malvern units come up a lot
yeah.
today.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So what was your first actual day in the actual Department of Corrections, not kitty camp, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
like where them boys with the butchers are.
Yeah.
Like, what was that like the day you get there? Walk me through that process.
So when you first get to Malvern, when you pull up, you're sitting at the gate, and there'll be a line of cars with people in it or vans or whatever. They'll let you in. You get out of the van. You get in a line. They'll come up to you with a piece of paper with your name on it. You'll hold it. You'll go into a door. When you get in there, there'll be a line of guys. They're going to have you stripped butt naked. You'll walk into another room. You'll change into your boxers. They'll tell you, throw all your whites into this box, throw all your clothes into that box. They'll put you back in the hallway. You'll stand there in your boxers with your paperwork, your Bible, whatever you have. They're going to go through that, make sure you only have 5 pictures. And then they're going to mark down all your tattoos, see if you're affiliated or gang related. You'll see.
Well, what's the difference between affiliated and gang related?
Well, affiliated, I mean, as in a white supremacy group, or gang related, meaning Crips, Bloods, folks. That's what I mean by gang related.
So you're using the differential to describe races.
Yes.
So affiliated for white folks,
Yeah.
gang related for black folks.
Technically.
But they're all gangs.
Yeah, they're all gangs.
That sounds like some bullshit. That sounds crazy, Bird.
But and if you are, you'll have to go and see a gang coordinator over the prison, and they'll put you in an STG file. And I have been in an STG file because I have, they say, quote unquote, gang related tattoos on me.
Which ones?
I got 88 on my leg, and I got a woodpecker on my right leg.
Huh.
They said I was a Peckerwood.
Well, that definitely does not fit your personality.
Yeah. So
I'm curious to know why you would put that on you.
Well, I was on crystal meth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'll do it. Okay. So were you scared your first time going through there?
I wasn't so much scared. I was mainly focused on going home, getting out, and getting back to what I was doing. That I'm just being honest. When I got there, my cousin was actually there. His name's Joshua Halbrook. He was on a 30-year sentence. He just recently went up for parole, and so I'm hoping everything went well with him. But he was there. I got into 7 barracks at Malvern, and it's 3 tiers high. So I was kind of overwhelmed by all the people, you know what I'm saying? But once I got in there, got in my cell, I was like, yeah, I'm not leaving this cell, you know what I'm saying? Didn't really go nowhere. Read a lot of books. I actually signed up for the Powells program. It's a religious program. And
did you get into it?
I did actually get into it. I went into it, and I ended up doing almost a year there at Malvern. And let's see, I did 5 months in a regular barracks. Then I went into the Powells program, did the rest of my sentence there, and was released and made parole.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So do you think you're ever going back to prison?
No.
What's different now?
My whole mind frame is different, man. Like, I don't even think about using drugs anymore. There's no nothing about using any kind of narcotic or mind-altering substance even attracts me anymore. Like,
what about alcohol?
No, I'm not too much of a drinker.
Yeah. What happens when you do drink?
I want to use drugs.
Yeah. Yeah. At the bottom of my Budweiser is an 8-ball. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Plus, I don't know about you, but I don't behave well on alcohol. Like, my natural challenging behaviors come to the surface when I am in any kind of way intoxicated.
Oh yeah, if I'm getting drunk, my fuse is real short.
Yeah, I'm fighting.
Yeah,
everybody.
Yeah,
you know, some people do certain substances and it has some type, it has an influence.
Has a weird effect, a different effect on different people.
Yeah, like if somebody smoke crack, they think they're track stars and they want to snatch your stuff and run. You know, folks smoke Sherm and they think they can fly and they jump off a building. I get drunk, I think I'm a prize fighter.
Yeah.
And
a Golden Glove boxer or something.
And I forget that I'm funny built, 240 pounds and 47 years old. You know what I mean?
Right.
The only thing young on me is my thinking.
Right.
And that's because I'm immature from my drug use and incarceration.
Correct.
Ain't that crazy?
Yeah.
You ever feel like you're younger than you are?
Yeah, sometimes.
You still think you're 20?
Yeah.
Boy, you better get off the gas.
I look 20.
Get out of here, man. Oh, me. So, okay. What was it? How did you get to next step?
So how I got to next step was, I had just made parole. It was 2022, February 2022. I just made parole. I left Cummins Prison after doing 3 years. I got out of prison, and my dad was out of federal prison. He had just did a 12-year stint. I got out of prison. I was out of prison maybe a week, and I started selling narcotics due to my dad's influence, I do believe. And, my own personal decision doing that.
Yeah, I was finna say, don't blame that shit on your dad, dude.
Yeah, well,
was he free?
Yeah, well, yeah. He was free. Yeah, he was out.
Did he come get you and hold a gun to your head and say, sell this dope?
No, but he did throw some dope at me and say, here, son, go make you some money.
Well, you could have threw it back and said, I'm straight.
Yeah, you're right. But I started eventually using the drugs.
Yeah.
And one thing led to another, and I ended up getting into a high-speed chase with the Arkansas State Trooper.
Who won that?
The State Trooper. But I ended up getting into a high-speed chase with the Arkansas State Trooper, and I ended up going to jail that day, and I got sent to Pulaski County Regional Detention Facility, where I spent 14 days. I used the money that I had on my books, which was $400. I used that to bond out and go to Lonoke County Jail, where I knew I had a hold. And I knew they were going to come get me, but I still bonded out. And I went there because I had heard about a program. It was called the PAC program.
I know about that program.
Peers Achieving Collaborative Treatment Program.
Yeah.
And
that's a good program.
Yeah, I know it. You started it.
I did.
So I had heard about this program. While I was in my addiction, I heard about this program because I'd seen some people go through it that I knew. And I really felt like this was my chance. I'd hit rock bottom for the umpteenth time. I told myself I wasn't fixing to go back to prison. I was fixing to do something different with myself.
Yeah.
And so I went to Lonoke County Sheriff's Department, and while I was there getting booked in, I seen someone that I knew that I was in active addiction with that is now a peer support specialist for the Lonoke County PAC program.
Mm-hmm.
His name is Michael Springer, and I couldn't get far enough away from the bench I was tied to, that I was handcuffed to. I got one arm extended all the way out and the other one extended all the way out, trying to wave him down. He comes in there and he talks to me, and I said, Mike, man, I need your help. He's like, what's going on, Brandon? What's your charges? Da-da-da. I was like, look, they got a warrant on me for some drug paraphernalia possession charge. And I was like, look, man, I need something different for myself. And he's like, well, I'm going to see what I can do for you. I was like, man, just see what you can do. So I get back there. I sit back there for probably 2 months. I fill out the PAC program application. They keep telling me that they're going to interview me. And finally, one day, the door pops. They holler my name. I get interviewed for the PAC program. I get accepted. And through the PAC program, you have to spend 4 months at the county jail.
Yep.
You do 6 months in a transitional living house.
10 months now.
Yeah, 10 months now.
If you come to next step, it's 10 months.
It was 6 months when I signed, but
yeah.
And then you can move out on your own once you do your time in the transitional living house.
Yeah.
So that's how I came to Next Step, and I knew that you had started Next Step, and I really, I really knew Next Step was where I needed to be, man.
You think it played a part in the life that you're living now?
Oh yeah, most definitely, most definitely.
So, we had some conversations earlier, like we had Colton in here, we had Nick in here. A lot of times people in a sober living, they're not there for the same thing you're there for. And so, we've had some dum-dums come through Next Step. You
Oh,
know what I mean? Some guys that had their head up their butt, had no desire to stay clean. And
most
so how,
definitely.
how do you survive and stay clean around someone who doesn't have that same desire or mindset?
Well, for me, I just kind of separate myself from. I pick them out usually, or I'll just separate myself and sit back and watch of who I think's gonna stay and who I think's not. And I'm pretty to myself most of the time now. So,
Yeah.
you know, I just try not to associate with all the BS that goes on. A lot of people, like, dude, you can tell who wants it and who don't. If they're
Yeah.
sta- if they're
I
steady
can for
if
sure.
they're steady talking about what they used to do, how they used to do it, and this and that and another, they're not there for
Yeah.
any change. You know what I'm
Not
saying?
yet.
They need to talk about the solution, not
Yeah.
you know.
So let me ask you this. What was your relationships like before you found recovery? Like the intimate relationships with your girlfriend or whoever?
Before I found recovery,
Yeah.
there was no girlfriends. I mean,
Straight hostages.
there was just I call them dirt legs. Where
Boy,
I call them old dirt legs. Them dirt them
what's a dirt leg?
man. You look, you go to where I'm from, and you pick up a girl. She either gonna be barefoot or in flip flops. Look,
Are they high?
probably.
Yeah, I would assume they were high
Well,
if they were
I
walking
call
barefoot.
it. I'd rather call them a dirt leg than a hoe. You know,
Yeah,
I'm
well,
just being honest.
okay. All right.
But there was a lot of them. I'm not happy about that, but
So you weren't really relationship material.
no.
What about now since you're in recovery? Are you relationship material?
Yeah, I feel like I am. I have found someone that is also in recovery, and
Oh, a little special somebody. What's her name?
her name's Amy. Yeah,
Amy
yeah.
with a Y.
No, I.
Oh, you know how she spells her name.
Yeah,
Trying to learn her a little bit, huh?
yeah.
All right. What's her favorite color?
Red.
What's her favorite thing to do?
Go walking or hiking.
Really?
Yeah,
I
or
don't know.
running.
I don't know. Ty knows her hobbies and he knows her favorite color. Okay.
And she likes Pop Tarts and grapes.
We're together?
Just man, look, it's hard for me to get this girl to go. Like when we go out to eat, she's real picky. She's either eating a salad or she won't eat fish or any kind of sushi or
I don't like sushi
nothing.
either. I don't like anything cold or
If we
raw.
if we go to Chinese, she'll just eat fried rice.
Yeah, she's pretty picky.
Yeah, she's picky,
You're gonna have to get her some vitamin pills.
but when she's around me, I make her eat. She eats.
Okay.
If I'm eating, you eat.
How long she been clean?
She's been clean 18 months.
Yeah. So I got to tell you, Brandon, from the day that we picked you up from jail and brought you home to the person you are now, it's pretty phenomenal to see, man. I'm very proud of you, and I want you to know that Chelsea and I love you, and you have been a blessing to Next Step. And I know that you're about to get your own apartment, and we want to help you with that. We want to help you succeed, and seeing you get your car, and up next, usually after the car, you get your driver's license, your insurance, then you get your place, and so uh, you've come a long way. And I know your dad just came home from federal prison and turned around, and less than a year later got arrested last year with 222 pounds of methamphetamines.
Yeah, while he was at his house in Little Rock, Arkansas, he was involved in some stuff that was illegal, of course, and they found 222 pounds of meth and 5 pounds of weed in a U-Haul storage facility that was in his name. And, yeah.
Yeah. So you could have very easily came home and did what you always did, and you chose a different path. And,
Yeah.
You're going to reap the rewards for what work you do.
Yeah.
So, I'm proud of you. I want to thank you for coming on and sharing where you're at. The people wanted to follow up, and, $18 an hour, you went from sitting in jail to having almost a year clean next month, having your own vehicle, $18 an hour, in a successful relationship. And I know this, you haven't said this, but Amy's a college student. She's about to graduate with a bachelor's in psychology.
Yes, she is.
So, there's no ceiling to what your life could look like in a year or two.
Oh, yeah.
So
sky's the limit.
Right. So if you could name 5 things that you want in recovery in the next few years, what would those 5 things be?
In the next few years?
Yeah.
I would like to maybe, I don't know, man. I would like to maybe get some reunification with my kids.
Okay.
That would be one thing I would want. I haven't seen them in probably 4.5 years almost now.
Yeah. What else?
So I would like to maybe move from an apartment or whatever to a home.
Okay, that's 2.
Buy a new car.
3.
Okay. Get married.
4.
And just stack some money, man.
Okay. That's 5. It. So what I heard you say is you want reunification with your children.
Yeah.
You want a wife, a vehicle, a home, and stability.
Yeah.
So I want you to be careful here, because everything you named is physical, material.
Right.
It's hard to stay clean without a relationship with God.
Of course.
It's hard to stay clean without spiritual growth. It's hard to stay, you gotta address the mental, physical, and the spiritual.
Right.
And all I heard you seeking
was material. You're right.
So be careful with that.
I couldn't get none of that without him,
Yeah.
Without God, I wouldn't even be sitting here.
Yeah.
And I truly know that,
Yeah.
Without God, I wouldn't have met Amy. Without God, I wouldn't have came the next step, without.
Yeah. It was such a hard decision too, because there's so much water under the bridge with our history.
Oh yeah.
Like Chelsea and I, we sat down and we talked and we prayed, and several times about you, and one of the greatest decisions that I made as the director of Next Step was to accept you.
I appreciate it too.
And
man.
you go onward, and you help other men get clean, Brandon, and you give them what you've been given, and you teach them, and you show them the road that you're on.
I'll try my best.
No, I ain't no try my best. Hold your hand out and try to scratch your head. That don't work.
It don't work.
It don't work. So I need you to look right here in this camera, man. I need you to say whatever it is that's on your heart to the newcomer, to the addict who's still sick and suffering, to the guy who just got released from jail this morning. Anybody that's been where you've been is waiting to hear what you got to say right now. So you let it go.
What I want to say to anybody out there that's struggling or still in addiction, man, never give up on yourself. Never lose hope. There's always somebody out there that can help you. And, man, just don't be afraid to reach out and call somebody, man, because there is people out here like Jimmy, like me, anyone that is in recovery, man. Reach out to them, find a meeting, or, man, just don't be scared to talk. There are people out there that are willing to help, because they'll love you until you can love yourself.
Thanks, Brandon. Well, I want to welcome you, and I'm glad that you came to the show, man.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and so it's been a pretty amazing day. We've recorded all day. All these episodes will be released, including this episode, will be released on Spotify, iTunes, all streaming platforms. Follow us on social media. Please go subscribe to our YouTube. You can watch all the video cast for the podcast there at Prison to Purpose. Jimmy McGill Live on Facebook, Prison to Purpose on TikTok. Thank you for your love and support, and we'll see you next time.
Peace.
You've been listening to From Prison to Purpose with Jimmy McGill. Please subscribe on any of the major podcasting platforms and on YouTube at Prison to Purpose. This podcast is produced by Ty King with American Business Engine and executive producer Jimmy McGill. For more information, visit us at jimmymcgill.org.